Let's go.
Hello! Welcome to the CGTN live stream. We're coming to you live from the BYD global headquarters here in Shenzhen. I'm Huang.
I'm Tang, and this is one of the world's largest manufacturer of electric vehicles. And you're looking at a concept car that gives us a glimpse of the future of e-mobility.
Yes, and by extension, we're going to look at a range of technologies changing the way we move around today.
And let's start from some numbers. Now, this year, China's new energy vehicle sales will hit a record 6 million units, and that's more than the rest of the world combined.
Yes, and that's already a more than 500% increase from just a decade ago. And I think a lot of that is thanks to policy incentives. You know,
Exactly.
China wants a quarter of all new car sales to be new energy by 2025, and it's phasing out the production of petrol vehicles.
Exactly, and the goal is to reach peak carbon emissions by 2030 and carbon neutral by 2060. And today we have a guest to help us understand how EV industry is helping us get there.
So let's welcome David Wiban, Overseas Marketing Manager at BYD. David, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for your invitation.
So we're walking up to this very interesting machine here. Tell us, what are we looking at?
What we're seeing here is called the E-Platform 3.0. This platform can allow us, or any automaker, to build any kind of vehicles. For example, SUVs, pickup trucks, sedans, hatchbacks, anything you can imagine. Okay. At the core, we have two main elements: the highly integrated 8-in-1 powertrain, which integrates all of the main components of an electric car, the motor, the reducer, the charger, everything. And powering this technology, we have the Blade battery. It's an LFP chemistry, lithium iron phosphate battery, which is regarded as one of the, or if not the most safe battery in the industry.
Okay, so usually we call this like a bed, the car's bed.
Yeah.
And this platform, within this platform, we can integrate all kinds of technologies.
Exactly. So you can have different configurations. For example, you can have 4-wheel drive. You could have an electric motor in the back and the electric powertrain in the front. Mm-hmm. Of course, power with the Blade battery. Or you could have only a rear rear-wheel drive and front-wheel drive.
Okay. Usually, how many Blade batteries within this platform?
It depends on the size of the car that you're building, but normally it would be a little bit more than 100, 120,
wow,
130,
100.
Depends.
So that already takes up the entire floor of the car and probably most of the cost of making this car.
Normally when it comes to EVs, batteries would account for about half of the price, or a bit more or less the half of the cost of the EV. And now that you were mentioning where do you put the battery? Well, BYD here, we developed the C2B technology, or the cell-to-body technology. What we do is we take the battery and we put it directly into the chassis, so it becomes a structural component of the chassis. Yeah. That helps us lower the center of gravity, which gives the car more stability, better handling, and it gives passengers more space.
By the way, look at the back. It's very flat and low, so no wonder that most of the electric vehicles that I've been inside, has a lot of room inside. They're very comfortable to sit in.
As you can see, electric cars have an advantage, and it's that the structure becomes, let's say, simpler. So you just need the powertrain and the battery. So you don't have the need for like a transmission shaft to the back. Okay, so in the middle, in case you notice, no electric car should have in the back seat. You don't have the space in the middle. Yes. When you have the passenger seat that you have to sit like this, so you delete that kind of uncomfortable position for passengers.
Save a lot of room for mechanics.
Exactly. And with this C2B technology, we aim to just give passengers more space. So that is for electric cars. But I would like to introduce you to our DM technology. So some markets, they are not ready to give the big step forward to electrification, 100% electric. Sometimes it's the cost or the infrastructure or just timing. So we have developed this dual mode technology, which is based on the Xiaoyun engine 1.5.
Okay.
This engine combines the best of both worlds. So you have a 97.5% efficient electric motor.
Okay,
And
this one is like electric one.
exactly, this is the electric motor. We can see here the inside. And on this side, we have an internal combustion engine. It runs in an Atkinson cycle, which combined with the electric motor can allow for a range of more or less 1,300 kilometers, one single charge.
So that
Charging
helps
technology.
with any customers with range anxiety, right?
Exactly, so people say, oh, but there are not enough charging ports
Yeah.
in my house, or I don't have access to a parking place. What do I do? Well, with this kind of technology, you can go hundreds and hundreds of kilometers without adding fuel or charging a battery.
We did another episode of the very first episode of Dynamic Use of China was in Spadong village in Hunan province in the mountainous remote area. But we are very happy to find out that even in that small village, we have set up this charging
Charging posts.
posts. Yes. So
No,
this is-
it's actually very interesting because since this kind of technology allows for zero emissions, so many, even like small cities, they're saying, oh, it's actually very nice to have, like clean air. So they're trying to invest a lot more into just building the infrastructure so more people get motivated to invest
And
in
I have a
EV.
question. That,
Yes.
the global chip shortage has caused many car makers to halt their productions. How
Yeah.
should we protect China's EV industries from the disruptions?
Well, when you are a fully vertically integrated company, you don't rely on other people's like R&D. So if you do everything in-house like we do in here, we have mastered all the core technology. So we have electric motors, the batteries, which has all the main components of the industry, including semiconductors. So this protects us from being affected or by these disruptions in supply chain, in this case for the chips. So technological innovation and being fully integrated, vertically integrated, is the best protection that any company could
And I
have.
also
And I-
noted that there is a bus right in
Yes.
this exhibition hall. Take a look. Yep.
Yes, and so I know that in 2017, Shenzhen became the first city in the entire world to electrify its entire bus fleet. So we're walking up to, I believe, one of the first electric buses in the world.
Yeah. So we, in cooperation with the city of Shenzhen, we launched this pure electric fleet
Shall we
of
take a sip?
buses. Yeah, please take a sip. So in the year 2011, we launched the public transportation electrification strategy, which aims to work with local governments to start implementing this kind of electric solutions. Because commercial vehicles like trucks or buses, they are always running either in diesel engines or they just run all the time.
Okay.
So they contribute the most when it comes to CO2 emissions. But by using this kind of technology, we allow cities to improve the quality of the air, which has become a major concern around the world. So
Another thing we noticed is, this is also very spacious, and the floor is completely flat.
yeah, so traditional buses, they run with diesel engines, right? So
Yes.
that requires a lot of space, either in the back or the front of where the driver is sitting.
Where is the engine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we can see here, let me show
Okay.
you.
Shall we check out the engine?
Let's take a look. It's really hard to find the engine. And David is going to show us.
So since you don't have all of those diesel engine transmission shaft or components, so what we did is we put the electric
here.
motor directly into the axle of the wheel.
Uh-huh.
So this allows for a completely flat floor. But why do you need a flat floor in case of, on a bus? Well, imagine pregnant women or elderly people, or maybe people in a wheelchair. If you have steps, it becomes a matter of accessibility. So people should have easy access to public transportation.
Okay. So we move this engines aside and leave the spacious area.
So you can have a fully flat
But
floor.
why can't those ordinary ones have this kind of a flat floor?
Because of the technology they use, the diesel engine and the transmission shaft, it requires a lot of space. So if you remember the old buses, they had this very high floor. Under that floor, you have all the diesel components.
I
So,
see.
yeah.
So I guess this kind of a bus is very popular.
It has become a global trend, actually.
Uh-huh.
At the moment, this technology has reached more than 70 countries and
Wow.
more than 400 cities. In fact, I was telling you before, when we launched this first fleet in 2011, the agreement with the local government was that every 8 years we should replace the fleet. So
Right.
the longest mileage recorded in an 8-year time period was 590,000 kilometers. But
how long
ju-
was that?
Yeah, so just to give you an idea, that's the equivalent of going around the Earth around 15 times.
Wow. So that another good sort of reassurance for people with range anxiety. How far can a bus go, on one charge?
Well, it depends on the driving conditions. 200, 300, 400 kilometers. It depends also on the size of the vehicle and the load. It also depends whether you have the aircon on or
Yeah.
not. So there are many variables that you should take into account to precisely estimate these kind of numbers.
Okay, and as
Yeah.
far as I know, that the largest electric bus fleet outside of China is in Colombia, the country
Your
that
country.
your
Yeah.
country.
I'm actually very proud to say this. My country has focused a lot on electrifying public transportation. So we have the largest fleet outside of China. And I'm also very proud to say that many countries in different regions, a lot of European countries and Asian countries, they all have followed suit with Shenzhen's electrification of the bus fleets.
I see. So what's people's attitude towards electric cars? China has been giving subsidies for a decade now, and how's Colombia? I mean, are people very open to buying electric cars, or do they
like
need
your
a bit of
family
nudge?
members, how do they see that? Since
Well,
you're working in this company.
Yeah.
I think every country could be kind of different, as well as every family. But in general, governments around the world have been motivating people through incentives or benefits or tax exemptions. So I think the trend is that we're going to see more and more electric cars and hybrid cars on the roads. And hopefully,
Do you
the
tell your
whole world-
family to buy only electric? You cannot buy petrol
Yeah,
cars.
actually,
Don't insult my work.
exactly. So my family is actually buying one BYD car.
Well, the company has already stopped producing fossil fuel powered vehicles.
So
right
only
now.
electric-
only
electric
electric ones
vehicles
or
and hybrids.
plug-in hybrid. Okay,
Exactly.
So where are we right now? This is
So I want to show you something. Throughout our history, we have been focusing mainly in R&D and technological innovation. So I want to share with you the Artisans Wall of Fame. We have made this recognition to show everyone visiting this showroom all the faces of the people that work very hard to make our R&D happen. So we have different faces. For example, we have Mr. Jiang. He's the head of the master pilot. So
He looks like a race car driver.
exactly, he's a driving expert. So it is said that his feeling for the steering wheel, for the handling, is so accurate that he can even give better feedback than the sensors of the car. So he's been regarded as an industry expert. And at the moment, we have more than 40,000 R&D engineers,
Wow.
and their hard work can be seen in the world's largest patent wall.
wow.
Wow.
So until now, we have applied for more than 37,000 patents globally, of which more or less 25,000 have already been granted.
So this wall is only just a fraction of the.
This collection
Immense
is only
number.
about 1,000 of them,
Yeah.
but as I said, more than 25,000 have been granted already. We have patents in different fields, so we
Yeah.
have powertrains, in battery technology, in manufacturing, in commercial vehicles, passenger vehicles, in semiconductors. So we basically cover all the main technologies of the new energy industry.
Because we know, for a long time, for decades probably, Guangdong especially has been known for factory of the world. But I mean, I think in recent years or in the past decade, increasingly we're becoming, more innovative. I mean, how's your experience of working in Shenzhen like?
Well, since I came to Shenzhen a couple of years ago, I have noticed that most of the industries are focusing or they target new technologies. So you have other big companies, you know, like IT companies, manufacturing companies, electric vehicle companies. So it's a very motivating, you know, it's very interesting to have a city that is so technological. Everything seems just new.
So that echoes with the government ideas of setting up the Shenzhen like a demonstration pilot area with the aim of, you know, making the city a top-tier world class with intensive investment in innovation and technological and development research, etc. I think that helps with the company, you know, to invest more efforts in scientific and innovation development.
Yeah. So not only what we're doing here, but basically, I think the model of Shenzhen has been extremely successful, and I'm very happy to be somehow part of it.
In the city of the future.
We
You're
can see the city of the future. You know, we're trying to build this kind of technology and share this technology with the whole world. You know, different cities, different countries, they require different kinds of technologies, and it's very important that technology becomes available for the whole world, because we're trying to reduce CO2 emissions, to reduce traffic congestion, to improve air quality in the cities, so that we can benefit all of humanity.
Yes, and our camera is now going up to a lab space, the nail penetration lab. I believe this is one of the most difficult
and I think it's the most exciting part of the tour.
the most rigorous battery safety test.
So I want to share with you this very interesting test. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna experience. This is the blade battery, exactly.
And this is
the NCM battery. So we're gonna experience the blade battery nail penetration test. It's the most rigorous test that you could put a battery through. What we do is we take an NCM battery, which we can see in here.
This is the ordinary one.
This is the old technology, and we have the BYD blade battery. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna simulate the worst case scenario. So we're gonna take a steel needle and we're gonna pierce through the NCM battery, and we will see what happens. And then at the same later we're gonna see the same test but with the blade battery.
Okay.
So
should we remind our audience to be
very excited as well.
please
Get ready.
stay behind the line. So now we're gonna see the NCM battery test.
Wow.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
You feel the heat.
Yeah, you do
Yes.
feel the heat wave.
Yeah.
That's the worst scenario.
And fortunately we have the glass, so
And this is
the
just
sound,
one.
yeah.
And this is just one little battery, right?
This is one of them. Imagine that under the floor in the car you have many of this.
Yeah.
So in case you face a car crash or something like that, like the worst case scenario, this is a terrible place to be.
Yeah.
Now
What's
let's
next?
exactly. Now we're gonna compare that to the blade battery. So let's do the second one, please.
Nothing.
Wow,
Nothing happens. So it's a big difference when it comes to not only fixing the problem of range anxiety, but also safety. We have raised the safety standard.
Okay.
So let's see the numbers, yeah? What happens?
Number tells everything.
Yes.
So let's see. With the NCM battery, we can see here the orange line, it shows the voltage of the battery. After you perform the test, the orange line, you can see that it goes to zero. So you lose
Lose power.
exactly. Basically, the car dies.
Yeah.
So
And you're locked inside.
exactly. So you cannot open the doors or pull down the windows. You cannot do it. And of course, as we saw, we have fire.
Yeah.
So it's a very, let's say, not the safest place to be.
The temperature goes right up.
Exactly. And the green line, of course, you can see all the fire goes up. Yeah. It spikes.
Yeah.
So now let's compare it to the blade battery.
What's the temperature of the explosion? Like
Look,
700
we can see
degrees.
more than 700 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
centigrade.
Because as we can see, it's still
Yeah.
burning.
Okay.
So if we compare that to the blade battery results, we can see that the voltage of the battery, even after being penetrated with a nail, it's still stable. Yeah, it might be affected a little bit, but you're still
still
safe.
going.
Exactly, you can still open the doors and do anything you need inside the car. And
Yeah.
when we compare the temperature, we can see that the temperature remains relatively stable. So I could say that our cars are the safest place to be, even in the core.
In general, the battery is always in a safe, stable
Exactly.
condition.
Exactly.
So how long did it take for you guys to come up with this technology?
Well, we have been working on batteries since 1995.
Wow.
So more than 2 decades of experience.
Okay.
So what's the trend now? Is everybody trying to beat you to come up with something better?
Our technology is not designed to like, okay, it's just for us. We try to share this technology with other industries and other automakers
Yeah.
because our aim is to make every single car in the world safer.
Yeah, and that's China's goal as well. Shared growth for humanity. That's the goal of high quality development.
Exactly. And our next stop, we are heading to another pillar industry of the company about the public transportation, but smart one and green one.
We're gonna see the multi-level green transportation solution, SkyShuttle.
Right. I have never actually boarded a train inside a building, so this part may be a little bit boring. But I mean, we're going through a lift, which will take us up to the platform.
Yeah, so I wanna highlight something that you just mentioned.
Yes.
So you said, oh, I've never been inside a station, inside a building.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you noticed because that's one of the key features of our SkyShuttle. The modular design allows for the SkyShuttle to be built even inside buildings because it's 100% electric and it makes no noise.
Yes.
So it doesn't affect anything of any of the infrastructure that is already in existence. So you can have a big shopping mall and the SkyShuttle can go right through it. That's another feature. Since it's on elevated tracks, you don't influence or you don't disrupt anything that is on the road. So you don't need to bore a new tunnel or you don't need to create new roads or a bridge or something like that. So the idea...
That one, here. Let's go.
Let's go. And we're riding with some of your colleagues.
yeah.
This is your.
Journeying around China and the world. From rural vitalization to smart city design. From environmental protection to technological innovation. From reform and opening up to working towards a shared future. It all comes for a pursuit of a better life. We explore a path geared by high-quality growth and decode China's strategy. CGTN presents Dynamics of China, an account of an unprecedented transition for the country in the new era.
And we're back.
We're
We
back.
apologize for the temporary interruption, but here we are.
Yeah, welcome to SkyShuttle.
It's strange that actually this is just the second floor of the headquarters building, but it turns out to be a platform for a shuttle.
I want to ask you to imagine something. Roads have a limited space,
Yes.
but what happens if you build on top?
Yeah.
You have a lot of space that you can utilize to improve transportation and give people a better experience.
Shall we sit over here?
Yeah, sure. Let's
Yeah.
have
Let's sit
this.
on this side.
So, because our solution is built on elevated tracks, you have basically limitless space to build. You can build it through the buildings or shopping malls, and you can connect different points of interest in the city. You can connect the hospital, you can connect the school, you can connect the bus stops, the metro station. So it's a very, let's say, because of the modular design, it's a very flexible solution. So,
Yeah, we just arrived in here. Like I've seen this shadows hanging up there. I thought it was kind of an internal transit system.
yeah.
But actually, it has, it applies everywhere. It has a lot of more value.
Yeah, our solutions this solution is called the SkyShuttle, and it's a multi-level green transportation solution. So it's called multi-level because it can be built in different layers. You know, it can be very high and connect taller buildings or shorter buildings. And the idea is that because it's completely silent and it's electric, you have all the energy necessary to actually have no driver.
Yeah, it's quiet and smooth.
Exactly. So
And I noticed that no one is driving it.
Yeah, nobody's
Exactly.
Look over there.
So
No one is driving it.
So let's have a look here, and we can see that nobody's driving. In fact, SkyShuttle has a certification called L4 certification, which allows that we don't require a driver. So the first experience, the first feedback that we had from some customers was that, oh, you know, some of the passengers were a little bit worried because they were asking themselves like, where is the driver? But through time, people got used to it because it's on elevated tracks and it has its own lane. So it's only a fixed lane that you can just rely on. So you don't need a driver.
Okay. And how does it feel? Like you've taken this effort to commute, working in this industrial park, and you know, meet with colleagues. Actually, are not going really home. You're just still in this industrial park.
Well, honestly, it's a wonderful experience every day. Imagine that if I had a car and I was driving in the city, I would have traffic lights, I will have a lot of cars, you have scooters, you have a lot of people. But when you take SkyShuttle, you're just enjoying the view. You know? And fortunately in Shenzhen, we have a very beautiful view. Because of the glass, we can just enjoy the whole landscape. And I think SkyShuttle by itself is also a very beautiful addition to the city's landscape.
Okay, so actually, not only we put efforts in this electric vehicles, we're also trying to do something more in other industries and other areas, like the public transit system. What
So we basically cover anything that can be for off-road applications, which are mining vehicles or mining trucks, port vehicles or port trucks. Then we have airport shuttle buses, and the last one would be the sorry?
So right now we
We've got some
have some questions
Oh, sure.
from our fans on the internet. The first one.
The first one, the
You
one
ready?
called Huang is that what's the lifespan of the BYD battery, and what about the recyclability of this product?
Oh, that's a wonderful question, because the Blade battery it has an LFP chemistry. That means that it has lithium and iron phosphate. So all of these elements, they are 100% recyclable, and they don't pollute the water. So also another advantage of this chemistry is that you don't have cobalt, which is a very controversial material. So we try to rely on very, very clean materials. So LFP is one of the safest and most environmentally friendly materials that you could use for a battery.
And there's one more.
One more. I think they're asking about the battery test. The battery test might show why electric cars burst into fire. The lack of electricity after an accident being danger is a good point. So I think people are quite interested in that part. I mean, what else can
as I said when we were watching the test, we actually solved the problem of safety, because most people have seen those kind of incidents, but we have focused on increasing and raising the bar when it comes to safety. So I would say that our cars are the safest place to be.
Innovation. And right now I know the municipality of Shenzhen has invested large sums of money into making it an innovative city, industrial-wise. So how does it feel to you? Like how much has the company benefited from the efforts from the municipality?
Well, I think we all benefit from this kind of motivation, from this kind of incentives, because it's not that just we benefit or someone benefits. It's like we can only grow if we grow together. So we see development and progress as something that it has to be the whole society, just the government, the private industry, the public sector, the people. So I think it's it's a very social thing. It has to be a comprehensive view of every single person or every single actor
Okay, I
of
think
the.
we will have arrived at the terminal. Shall we get off?
Yeah,
And take a look around.
Sure.
I mean, this feels very short because it's been such an enjoyable ride.
Yes.
Well, I'm very glad.
Look at the view. It's wonderful. And we've been talking so much about the governing philosophy of high quality development, low carbon economic development, etc. So what's your understanding of this idea?
Development, well, I think if you want to improve EVs and all the technology that you require to produce EVs, you should rely on technological innovation. And I think the city of Shenzhen has the whole ecosystem and all the possibilities for growth and for development. So I think we're going to see that in the future, more and more EVs are going to be in the street.
So I think we're coming up to the end of our live stream.
Yes, we've been looking at so much about the innovation from the innovative design of the electric cars to the green transit system and to the intellectual manufacturing designs. And we have seen the efforts the company has made in reaching high quality and low carbon development.
Yes, exactly. And high quality development is a fundamental guideline for China's economic policies in recent years, featuring more sustainability, innovation, and openness. And that's led to many technological breakthroughs that are changing our lives for the better.
And thank you very much for joining us on this journey, and stay tuned for other episodes of the dynamics of China. And that's it all from us in Shenzhen. I'll see you guys around. Bye.